You know, there was a minister in North Carolina recently that said if you have a Nelly boy as a son, give him a punch. Well, instead, maybe he should have said, why don't you just have him play softball? So here we are with Vincent Fuqua, commissioner of the San Francisco Gay Softball League. Pretty good way to help young gay people get into sports, yes?
Yes, I think it is. Actually, that's actually how I got started.
Tell us about it.
It was actually, I think I was in my early 20s when I came to San Francisco in 1989. I got involved with the gay youth organization, and then they decided they wanted to start a softball team. And so I got involved with the San Francisco Gay Softball League, and it's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, now for a lot of people, gay softball is just a sport. But here in the Bay Area, it's really more of a cultural phenomenon, don't you think?
I guess you could say that, yes. Our league continues to grow. It's actually amazing how much people actually really enjoy not just playing softball, but actually it's really a great opportunity for people to meet and to really connect and to be able to, hang out. Because I think a lot of times when we were younger, we were teased a lot about playing sports. And this is a way.
Really, you think?
Oh, yeah. I think just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And I think this is actually an opportunity for people actually to be themselves. And we have all skills on level of people who play. Some people are good, some people are so-so, and the whole idea is just to build a really amazing community that's been happening.
Yeah, I mean, all kidding aside, I would have been one of those Nelly boys that the North Carolina minister said, tell your son to butch it up, My dad did everything he could to get me to be good at sports, and I was hopeless. So I'm going to ask a hopeless question for those who also want to know the answer.
Okay.
What is the difference between softball and baseball?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Well, one of the main differences is softball is slow pitch. It's slow pitch. It's actually underhand, where baseball is actually fast pitch, where you throw it overhand. So that's one of the main difference. And also another difference between baseball and softball is baseball, you actually have 3 outfielders. So it's like left, center, and right field, where softball, you actually have 4 outfielders, which is like left field, left center, and right field.
So now, why do you think that softball has become such a gay phenomenon? I mean, I remember when I came to San Francisco, there were lots of organizations to join, and I'd heard about the Gay Softball League, and it seemed to be associated with, there was always a bar sponsoring a certain team.
Still does.
And I was awful at softball when I was a kid, and I still am, so I joined other social organizations. Why has softball become such a big gay thing?
Like I said earlier, I think because people do really get an opportunity to meet each other, but it's also a team sport. It's really an opportunity for people to come together as one instead of feeling isolated, which I think a lot of sports actually does that, and softball actually really doesn't. And it's also one of the sports actually I think you can actually pretty much easy pick up on. You can pretty much learn how to field a ball. You can pretty much learn how to throw a ball. And also I think what it does is build confidence in people more and more being able to play softball. And I think that's why it became such a big thing. And it's fun. Just think about, when you were a kid, maybe on a picnic or something like that, your family party had a softball game, and I think that's why a lot of people sort of okay, I can do this. I want to learn how to be involved with this, and it's just been amazing to see the growth of people.
And it's also become something that's not just good for the people who participate as a player here in the Bay Area, but don't the games at the Gay Softball League raise money for charity?
Yes. Yeah, well, we actually do a couple of things. One is, of course, it's a nonprofit organization, so we have fees and stuff like that to keep the league running. But we also, contribute to different organizations yearly as well. So it's part of the thing that we do of getting back to the community, which is a wonderful thing.
So when you were young, did you play softball? And did they say you threw like a girl? I mean, come on.
Well, actually, no. I never was told actually I threw like a girl, because fortunately, for me, sports was in my family, so it was actually somewhat in our genes, being able to play sports. But I still always got picked last playing sports, and that was actually very hard, especially growing up with a brother who was very athletic and who always got picked first, and me getting picked last. It was really hard to actually deal with that. So I never played organized sports growing up. And so it wasn't until I came to San Francisco when I got involved with the Gay Softball League. It was the first time I actually played in organized sports.
And you're from Los Angeles originally, correct?
Los Angeles County.
So what was your coming out experience like with a butch older brother who played sports and the young guy who was probably picked last?
Well, I didn't come out until later in life. So it's definitely something I had to look up to, knowing that, I had to, have this image in essence to be, this masculine guy. And And so that was, that was tough. But once I came to San Francisco and once I got involved with softball and other things, it really helped me build my confidence. And so that made me much more easier to be able to come out. So now actually my brother actually comes to some of my games when we travel for tournaments.
That's great.
Him and my and sisters and everyone. So they've really been accepting.
Yeah. Well, now, in the last year, there was a little bit of controversy. I jokingly, just a little bit. I certainly never thought, as a gay man, that I would see a straight man pretend to be gay to be on a gay softball team.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about this controversy.
Okay, and I can do some clarification there.
Yeah, please do.
So what it is so we have our league in San Francisco, which is the San Francisco Gay Softball League, which we actually in our 40-year anniversary actually of celebrating of being around. But we also belong to this big organization called NAGA. I cannot remember what it stands for. I think it's the
National Association of Gay Athletics. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're sort of kind of the big umbrella and oversees everything. And so NAGA have certain rules that they have set. One is about ratings, making sure that people are playing in their proper division. And one is they have a rule that you're only allowed to have 2 straight people on your team. So that's the rule that they actually have.
And this is a rule from the national organization which authorizes you locally.
Correct. Yeah. If our team decides to go and compete in the Big World Series, which we actually do every year, because we're a pretty good team here in the cities. and so what happens is because of the way that's the way it's set up. But in San Francisco, we don't have that rule. In San Francisco, everyone is welcome to play softball, regardless whether you're straight, gay, bi,
whatever your gender identification is. You just want to be able to throw a ball.
There you go. Just come out and play. And we don't ask people sexual orientation either. One is because it's illegal for us to do that in San Francisco to ask someone orientation and to discriminate based on orientation. So what happened is it happened back actually in 2008. So it just got settled last year.
Yes.
And what happened was one of our top teams, our A division, they're really good. They've been competing for many, many years, and each year they've gotten better. And so then they decided to actually protest against this team because they felt that they had too many straight people on their team.
And just to be clear, because this really got a lot of heat in the press, who protested?
What happened was one of the teams that they played against protested against them. So they played against an Atlanta team in the semifinal, and so they beat Atlanta. And so then Atlanta was upset and decided to protest and said that they had more than 2 straight guys on their team.
So this was a gay softball group saying, you guys have too many straight guys on your team.
Correct.
Okay, and what was the settlement?
That is correct. You lost me there.
No, so what was the outcome?
Oh, yeah. And so what happened was they brought in these 5 guys into this room of about 20-some people, and they asked them questions about
Meaning NAGA, the national...
Yeah, NAGA, yeah. And so they brought them into this room. I was there because I was a commissioner, so I had to be in the room with them. And then they asked them some really intrusive questions, and then from those questions, they determined whether those individuals were gay or not. And so those individuals never, ever identified as being straight, but yet they decided that, no, you 3 individuals actually are the ones who are gay. And the other thing is, which never really came out, actually, the 3 people who they said, it was 5 people who came into the room, and they all pretty much answered the questions pretty similar, but it was the 3 people of color who they said were straight, and the 2 white people they said were gay.
So how did that make you feel as a commissioner?
Very upset, actually. It was a hard thing to go through because I never, ever thought that something like this would happen. One is because it's like we've been discriminated against all our lives, and how are we going to go about and do that exact same thing to other individuals?
Well, and also the impression is leaving, well, I mean, you, quote unquote, you can't have more than 2 straight guys on your team because they're better than the gay guys because they're gay.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of...
And that's their argument. That's a lot of people's argument. And which I can tell people, it's about skills. It does not matter. I play in a co-ed team, and I'm the only gay guy on my co-ed team, and I'm our best player.
Right.
I'm better than the straight guys.
So this rule exists in the San Francisco Softball League. You can't ask someone whether they are gay or straight.
Correct.
But other teams in the country can. So this rule still exists?
Not everyone. There are some cities that actually can't do that either. So NAGA actually is now starting to recognize it, and they're actually starting to get better to realize that, wait a minute here, maybe we went a little step too far. So actually, they are actually making progress now, which is actually good to see.
What do you think as a commissioner came out of this? I mean, it's an ill wind that doesn't blow someone some good. What good came out of this PR mess?
I think the good thing actually what came out of it is, one, I think it was a learning thing for everyone. And, it was definitely a learning experience for me to realize what it's like to be in a room when people, in a sense, were interrogated, about their orientation.
Yeah, prove to me you're straight.
Yes, yeah.
Prove to me you're gay.
Yeah, and it's just like it was, it's hard to describe the emotions that I was going through at that moment. But then also I realized that actually maybe this is an opportunity to educate.
A teaching moment.
Yes, and I think Naga is starting to get that. And I think other people are starting to realize that, wait a minute here, why are we discriminating? We didn't like it, so why are we going about to do the exact
in
same
2012, the spectrum of gender identity and sexual orientation, I mean, today's straight pitcher may be tomorrow's gay catcher. I mean,
Right.
Let's
You never
let's
know,
be
honey.
serious about you never know.
You know, and so, and it is. But I think that we're heading in the right direction. I think, as usual, San Francisco is a model of how be inclusive. It really does not matter what someone's orientation is. It really is about playing softball, which
Let's
people
all play
love
ball.
doing it. Yeah.
Thanks so much. We've been speaking with Vincent Fuqua of the San Francisco Gay Softball League. Next up, we're going to meet a couple who is continuing to fight the Defense of Marriage Act. We'll be right back.